Okay, and we are recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Swords of the Serpentine, Corpse Astray. This is episode 3 of 3. We're playing on Gauntlet Hangouts. My name is Mike. Um, I've been GMing for quite a while, although I'm still relatively new GMing here on the Gauntlet. Want to take a few moments I'd like to take a few moments to introduce our players, and if you want to mention your characters as well, that would be pretty cool. I'm just going to call you on the order that I see you on my screen here. So, Jason, would you care to start?
Sure. I'm Jason. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing the White Ruin, who also uses he, him pronouns. He is a giant of a man, demon haunted. Last session, he found out through his connections in the Sorceress Cabal that there's a necromancer at work that has enslaved a demon, and he's out to right this wrong as quickly as possible.
Excellent. Chris, would you introduce us to yourself and to your character?
Sure. I'm Chris Newton. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Elder Kaburi, who goes by she, her pronouns. And she is a semi-retired spy master from the Sheltered Isles who is in the city looking to find information and possibly revenge against the Court of Tides.
Thank you. Lowell, would you like to go next?
Yes, so I'm Chrysanthemous. I'm a good sorcerer. I'm really good. May have been accidentally gotten here, and that's a thing. I'm a little ways away from retirement. I really don't want to get killed while this is going on, so I'm more than happy to let White Ruin walk on in. Last time, I cased a joint and had delicious banh mi that I found on the street. A lot of good street food around the place that I was casing the joint. So that is who I am.
Awesome. And Dan, would you tell us about Raz?
Sure. Hi, my name is Dan. I'm playing Raz Cloud Eye. She is a blind thiefy type person, and she's a community worker. So by day she works in a community kitchen, giving food to the disenfranchised, and by night she wanders the streets and attempts some social justice.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I forgot to mention my pronouns. They are he, him. We've all been playing this game before, so I'm going to briefly touch on some safety tools. We are using the X card. I think we're all familiar with the X card, but for those who are watching at home, if the game goes somewhere, or the GM or a player introduces an element in play that you are not comfortable with, you can say the phrase X card. You can make an X card, gesture, because we're all on video. Our dice roller also has an X card button that you can click. That's going to cause us to pause. I'll ask what element we need to pull out of the game. We can talk about it a little bit. We'll then rewind, and then we'll replay the scene from a different angle. We are also using lines and veils. We've already picked those. Those are on our lines and veils sheet on the safety resources tab on our character keeper. Briefly, a line is something that will simply it's a subject matter that will simply not appear in the game. A veil is something that we can acknowledge the existence of, but it won't happen on camera. It certainly won't happen to the player characters. So veils are something we tread very carefully with. Finally, we've got open door running, which means anyone can call for a break at any time. I'm going to try to go for I'm gonna try to like remember to like I'm gonna try to remember to call for probably 2 5-minute breaks. I'm gonna try to do them, I'm gonna try to do them like equally through the game, but that may be where we. It's gonna kind of depend on. I'm gonna try to fit them in with pacing. But if anyone needs a break for any reason, please go ahead and call a break, and we'll call a break. If anyone needs to leave, and if you need to step away, you don't have to let us know whether or not you're coming back, but I'd appreciate the courtesy if you're planning to not come back. Finally, one other thing, which isn't exactly a safety tool, but my neighborhood's been having internet weirdness the past couple of days, and in a game I was in last night, like I just dropped out for 3 or 4 minutes at a time. So I just want to give folks a heads up that there is a possibility that I may freeze up or drop out of the meeting. If that happens, I will do my best to reconnect as quickly as I can. However, if it's 10 minutes and I don't come back, assume that I've got a bigger outage than I have been experiencing, and you can consider the game is over. I have everyone's email, and if I'm able to get a cell connection, I'll let you know. But I did just want to give you a warning that I've been having some internet weirdness, and there might be a better than usual chance that I may disappear from this game for a brief period of time. Let's see, hopping over to that. So I guess I'll give a brief recap as to what happened last time. Partly because Dan wasn't with us last time, so we'll bring Roz into the scene quickly. So in our last session, our heroes sailed into Eversink on their ship after it had been attacked by the dread pirate Captain Prussia Cointongue, who you captured, brought aboard your ship, and then left her ship in flames, burning the waterline. On the voyage back, you had made a deal with her. You would turn her over. She would let you turn her over to the authorities, so that you could collect the price on her head. And then she said, if you would bust her out of jail, she had another treasure cache that she would happily give you in exchange for her freedom. So we had a little jailbreak scene that we got Prussia out of there. However, before that, she let you know that that there is somebody in the Tangle, which is the poor section of the city of Eversink, that is paying top coin for corpses. Ideally, the fresher the better, but if they're not so fresh, they still pay coin. Her contact was a local street thug named Donastra, who's got a pretty terrible reputation in Eversink. But Donastra's apparently running a bunch of gangs that are collecting corpses and are bringing them to somewhere. You managed to you encountered some of Donastra's corpse takers. There was a scene where you basically got out of them where they are taking these corpses, which is an apparent manor house in the old stonemason section of the Tangle, which was once it was never a rich part of town, but it was more prosperous than it is now. You got there and it looks like a beautiful, amazing mansion, which is utterly, completely out of place in this like poor warren of slums and shanties. You staked it out. You took care of a couple of guards, and I believe that blanking on character's name, Chrysanthemus, detected that there's definitely the smell of death coming from the house, and there may be There may be some signs of magic, but they weren't really overt. We ended the last scene with White Ruin going up to the front door, dispatching the guards, literally kicking in the door, and then you went in.
I'd like to point out to Raz that the option was given to be a little more subtle, and perhaps we could jump up onto the roof and make our way in a clever and quiet way. And that idea was discarded. And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that you understood how the situation got to this point.
Look, when the White Ruin is around, I know that option is always on the table and always discarded. So.
Well, also we had to consider, honestly, given the state of this place, it's unlikely the roof could support the White Ruin.
Oh, fair enough.
So, I mean,
I do have a fictional question that I'm trying to remember here. Did we establish the idea that there was somebody that Dinestra was working for?
Yes. Dinestra was Dinestra was working for whoever is living here in this
that's right.
house. And you actually got a name of that guy. His name is my notes are too scattered.
Is it like Uxoriath or something like that?
Uxoriath, yes.
Or was that
sort of.
Yeah, I think I just wrote it down what I thought it sounded like.
Nope. That character is there. So the owner of the place is a guy named Anthony Valerio. He's the owner. He's sunk a fair amount of money into this place to make it look. Now that you're closer, from a distance, it looks like an expensive mansion. Now that you're closer, it looks like someone has put up a new facade on this building to make it look like an expensive noble's mansion. It still looks very much out of place here. Yes, the Uxorioth is. Oh, that's right. White Ruin. There was a scene last time where White Ruin met his contact at one of the sorceress cabals. And was able to get this other sorcerer to perform a divination, and that's where you got the name of, and that's where you got the information that Valerio is dealing in forces that he doesn't quite understand, and that he has allowed a demon to reside in him. And this demon's name is Uxorioth. Uxorioth of the honeyed words laced with poison. So we ended this last session with White Ruin kicking in the door, the other characters filing in behind him, looking around what looks like a very nicely appointed foyer. It was pretty dark in there though, and you're just about to move into the next room to start searching the place when you heard a voice from the shadows saying, "You picked the wrong house to knock over," said a deep and gruff woman's voice. And just barely in the shadows, there is a woman pointing a loaded crossbow at the lot of you. I am blanking on Joe's character's name, who had the thank you. And yes, and Vivi recognized her as Dinestra. They had met. So I'm just going to say, in terms of retcon, that Roz, you've been here the whole time. Vivi is still here for fictional reasons, and just because I don't like characters popping in and out. Yeah, I think we ended there. So I think that's where we're going to open. you're in this room. It's an entryway. It's a fairly big room. It doesn't have a lot of furnishings, but it does have art on the walls and a couple of big amphoras and decorations. Not well lit, but in the shadows in the corner, you can make out a figure that is clearly pointing a crossbow at the lot of you, and she says, "You picked the wrong place to knock over. Get out now, while you can."
Oh, we're not here to rob you.
We're here to
really?
free the demon. Where's your master?
I take a step away from the White Ruin.
Speak quickly.
She says, "Do you have an appointment?" She says that dripping with sarcasm.
White Ruin just looks blankly at her. I said, where is your master?
"He can't be disturbed at the moment. I suggest you leave if you know what's good for you."
Clearly, we've already walked in and kicked in your door, so I don't think that we know what's good for us. That ship has already sailed. So now, Denastra, you've been buying the corpses. That's not cool. We're here to maybe put a kibosh on that. And my friend here wants to talk to your master who swallowed a demon. I know how that can be. So you can put down the crossbow, or the situation can escalate.
She says, "Yeah, I think she's going to do. Yeah, I think she's going to do that." You hear you hear the sound of a thunk, and a crossbow goes flying across the room at I'm going to say at the last person who was talking, who was Chrysanthemum. And she says,
I'm like the least threatening person. Well, no, I'm sorry. I think I'm probably the second most threatening person. Fair enough.
"Well, you were the one who annoyed her most recently."
Fair enough.
Okay, let me pull up roll for your party. You need to find any dice roller. Dice roll for your party seem kind of wonky.
Yes. I will give you a link to a dice roll we've been using. That's really good.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one from John Grimm?
Yes, it has been, while it doesn't do tokens or anything like that, that's the unfortunate thing. The roller on it is quite nice.
Okay. Given the fact that this game kind of really needs tokens,
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I think I'm gonna stick with it despite its wonkiness.
If you're just rolling one die, it's okay.
Yeah,
if you're rolling more dice, it's a problem.
Yeah, with Gumshoe, you're pretty much only rolling one. You're only rolling one, occasionally two. Once in a blue moon, you're rolling three. So I think she is going to spend 5 of her points, and I'm going to re-roll the green die. Okay, so that is an 8. I'm pretty sure that will.
Most assuredly passes my threshold.
So your health threshold is.
Let me
4.
ask you this: under athletics, is that a skill we can use to dodge? Can we attempt to evade?
Actually, yes, it is. If you have 8 points.
Ah, so otherwise you can't. Okay.
So that's one of the mechanics here. So if you have 8 points or if you have 8 ranks in a standard ability, that unlocks a secondary ability.
Right, like my blast. Okay, yeah, I didn't realize that's what dodge did. Okay.
Yep. Dodge lets you. Dodge lets you. Parry your dodge blows.
Then I will stand there.
Ka-thunk. Okay, so yeah, that is going to do I rolled a 2 on the die, but she spent 5 points, so this is going to do 5. This is going to do 5 plus 1. It's going to do 6 points of health damage.
I'll take 5 with my armor. And I'll say, not cool.
She snarls, I warned you.
Someone please kill her.
I'm wondering if I maybe know. I've got scurriest rumors.
Scurrilous rumors, yes.
Know something about her that I can use against her. I also know city secrets.
Okay.
And
flip her stats here.
Roz is a little bit of a disdainful teenager, so she is going to make anyone above the age of 18 feel badly about themselves.
Just an innate ability of teenagers.
So I'm told. And I think what she's going to do is she's going to sort of lay on a little bit of a guilt trip, like they're buying corpses from the poor areas of town, and this is Roz's beat, right? This is sort of the people that she likes to look out for. So I think she wants to kind of pat her and give her a little bit of a guilt trip.
Got it. Okay. So we're kind of we're definitely in a combat scene here, because I basically decided that she kind of had the drop on you. I won't say had the drop on you, but she literally had a loaded crossbow on you, and all she needed to do was pull the trigger. So I decided to let her have initiative. And the way initiative works, it's basically a popcorn initiative. So whoever goes after they act, they can say who goes next. And who goes next is And at that, she says, "Get 'em, boys." From the next room come like 6 more thugs, pretty much like the ones that that White Ruin had dispatched earlier. I'm going to say that 2 of them. I'm going to say that 2 of them are on White Ruin. 2 of them are on White Ruin. 2 of them are on Vivi, and I'll say 2 are on Roz. And I'm just going to say that just to take the character out of the scene, the 2 that are on Vivi, like one surprises her and cracks her on the back of the head with a blackjack, and she's just knocked out. White Ruin, what is your threshold? Oh, I've got a character keeper. I can just look at that. Cool. So the thug is going to spend all of their points. It's going to spend all on this point to try to make this. Ooh, nice. Spent all 5 of their warfare points. So that is an 11. Which does beat your threshold by 5. So that is going to be a critical hit. The blue and the yellow dice. Okay, White Ruin. One of the thugs just hit you for 11 points of damage.
Wow. Then I take my armor off, so I take 9.
Yep.
All right, I'm still kicking.
Okay, the other's going to try as well. And that is also a hit, but not a critical. For another 5 damage.
All right, so now I'm at 0 health. What's that do?
At the moment, 0 health doesn't 0 health doesn't affect you. It's when you get into
Oh,
negatives
okay.
that things
All right.
things get a little dicier. And the ones on Roz. That's an 8, so that is a hit. Roz takes 5 points of damage from the first hit. And again, you can subtract your armor rating from that. And
I
second,
I do have dodge.
oh, you
Is
do
that-
have dodge. Yes. You can make a dodge roll. Give me just a sec to look up the rules. I don't know. Let's see. Give me just a sec to look up the rules. I forget how that works. I'm opening the wrong drive. Let me go here. Summary. I want the book. Sorry, I'm having trouble here. Find location. There. Apologies on this. I'm having some technical difficulties opening the rules file, the rules document. There we go. Finally. Okay. Okay, you can try to dodge or parry attacks against your health after you've successfully been attacked, but before you roll your foe rolls damage. You can spend at least a point of athletics to roll an athletics test. You must exceed the attacker's successful result. So if their result was a 5 to attack you, your result must be 6 or higher to successfully dodge. If you're using a buckler or shield, you must only meet, not exceed, the attacker's result to dodge. So yeah, so you can spend, you can make an athletics check to attempt to dodge.
Well, I reduced my points to 7, and I rolled a 6 on a d6.
You rolled a 6 on the d6. I'm sorry. How many points did you spend of your athletics pool?
I just spent the 1.
Okay, you can spend as many as you want.
I will spend 2 because I think we're going to be here for a while.
Got it.
So I rolled
okay, so that's going to be an 8. And they rolled, and they I believe that was a 7 to hit you. So yeah, you have successfully dodged that. The other one is going to attempt to attack you. And that guy would also hit with a 9.
I will take the damage.
Okay. And that is 6 points of damage.
You said 6?
6. I think let's resolve the combat with Roz right now. Since you were just hit, why don't you respond?
I guess I will smack them back.
Okay.
So
you do have the cleave ability, which means for every 3 points you exceed the opponent. So these are mooks. So basically, one hit they go down. You have the ability for every 3 points you exceed their threshold, you can take out another one.
Do I need to spend any warfare points?
Well, the way that works is, so you roll the dice, and before you roll the dice, you can declare how many points of warfare you want to spend on that particular attack. And for each point you spend, you get a +1 on the roll. So if you want to spend 4 points, you get a +4 on the roll.
I'll spend 2 on my first roll.
Okay.
Attacking the first one.
Well, I mean, you basically get 1 attack. So.
Oh, right. Well, I rolled a 4 + 2 is 6.
Okay, you got 1, and you took one of them out. Would you tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, I guess, what are they attacking me with?
They got, I'm going to say that they've got short swords.
Okay, she's going to use she has a staff that she uses for walking because she's blind, but it doubles as a weapon. So, and she's very swift. So she uses her staff essentially to take advantage of her small size, knock the one off his feet, and then hit him upside the head to knock him out cold.
Awesome. Yep, one's down. Cool. Who would you like to go next?
I think the White Ruin.
Okay. So I think I'm going to try to clean out these mooks. I'm going to use now, if I use sorcery, do I have to use a corruption point, or can you just use sorcery combat abilities?
Yeah, you can use sorcery as a combat ability. You can basically describe it free form.
Okay.
Generally, so you can use it to just attack either their health or morale, depending on what sphere you're using and what the special effect is. Yeah, you can just attack them and describe a special effect. If you're trying to do something that's like clear, that would be the general rule of thumb for this is you don't need to spend a corruption point if you're using your magic to do something that could be done through normal physical means. So, so if you want to just blast them with blast them with normal cold, we can just call that a straight up physical attack. That's really no different than like hitting with a sword. It's just that you're using your sorcery skill. If you wanted to encase them in a column of ice so that they were completely frozen, that's a truly magical effect that you couldn't just do. So that you need to spend a point of corruption for.
Okay.
If you wanted to turn them, if you wanted to freeze them solid like they were an ice statue, that might need 2 points.
And if I were to, I have 2 points of spot frailty. If I were to use one of those, would that tell me whether their health or morale is weaker, perhaps, or give me more damage or something like that? How does that work?
Yeah. So when you are attacking, on a hit, you can choose to spend an investigative point to get an extra die of damage.
Okay.
So
All right.
you just need to tell us how that's tell us how that investigative point is affecting the combat to your favor.
But I don't really need damage on this. So would it add to my die roll? You know, because the mooks only have what, one hit point, as long as you get to their threshold.
Yeah, basically go on.
I was just going to say, if I were to spend one of those points right now, would that give me some advantage against these? Would I roll
Yes,
2 dice and add them together?
What you can do, well, on your attack roll, or basically on an action roll, you can spend an investigative point to gain +3 on the roll.
Okay. All right.
Generally, they recommend I mean, you can do it, and that is certainly an option. It's generally better to spend your general points or the accumulated refresh points because those come back, and your investigative points don't really come back until the adventure is over.
Okay. So this is what I was thinking of doing. You tell me if it's stupid, but if I understand correctly, I think this might make some sense. So I'm going to burn, I've got 10 points of sorcery. So I'm going to burn all of those. I'm going to use a point of spot frailty to add 3 more. And then I'm going to burn, we should have just added a token, right, for Raz killing one. So I'll burn, say, 4 of our points, 4 of our tokens. So if I understand correctly, I'm rolling a d6 and I'm adding 10 plus 3 plus 4. So 10 plus my die roll plus 17. Is that overkill?
That's totally overkill. Definitely don't. I would recommend don't spend the investigative point.
Okay. Okay. So
how
about
if you're gonna do that.
10 plus 4 then. So
yeah,
or die roll plus 14, trying to kill these 5 guys.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Die roll plus 14.
All right, I got this white die down in the corner. Reroll selected. And I got a 6. So that's 20. So I think with this, does that get all 5 of them?
That takes out all 5 of the mooks. How do you use your fell cold magic that the
right
that the ice what did you call her, the ice bitch gave you?
The ice bitch, yeah. So they come at me and they hit me with these swords, and I just wade into them. I get all these cuts, and as the blood starts to flow out, these spirits kind of instead of blood, it's blood, but there's also these icy spirits that flow out, and they go flying in all directions at these guys and just fly right through them, just fillet them, and they fall dead to the ground.
Very creepy. I love it. Who is going to go next?
Elder Kaburi. And Mike, we get tokens, right? So I used 4, but we've killed 6 of them. So maybe add 2 tokens overall.
Yep.
If I understand.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 5 mooks are down, and the original lady is still up, correct? Or 6 mooks total?
Yep.
Yeah, all the mooks are gone.
All the mooks are gone. And Denastra, holding the crossbow, is now looking worried.
Yeah, I think what Elder Kaburi is going to do is she's going to throw some sway at Denastra by throwing a knife and cutting her crossbow string as she's trying to reload, and pointedly saying, "Perhaps now is the time for you to attempt to negotiate." So I'm going to go for a sway attack here.
Go for it.
And
you want to burn some tokens?
I was going to say,
I was going to spend.
We got a pile.
Oh well, yeah, sure. I'm going to spend. 3 points of my sway.
Want to spend any of the refresh tokens?
Yes, that's where I was going to go next. And I will spend I'll spend 5 of the refresh tokens if that's okay.
You have the scene, so you can spend as many as you want.
Yes, good. Okay. So that'll give me 1 die plus 8.
I'll pull those 5 off.
Okay. And I will roll the green die. That is a 5 plus 8 will be 13.
Okay. You have exceeded her threshold by 5, so you can roll. So you're. So yeah, go ahead and roll 2d6 damage. Designate one die as. I mean, basically, one of the dice. You spent more than 6 points on this, so one of the dice. So the main die can't do less than 6 points. So go ahead and roll. Another d6, and that's going to be plus the 6 from the first die because it can't be lower than 6 plus 1. So it's a d6 plus 7 damage on her morale.
Okay. I'll roll the blue one for the damage.
Okay.
That is a 3 on the die, so a total of 10 points of morale.
And morale. Okay. And who's going to go next? She looks very worried now that you've so what is that? So you give her the warning. You were going to throw the knife. What does that look like?
I think basically, as Dinestra is sort of looking in horror at the White Ruin after what just happened, because of course she would. I think as she starts to reach down to load her crossbow, she sees a knife just suddenly appear in the spot where the crossbow string used to be, and that string just twang, and she hears from behind the White Ruin. It seems that now would be the time that you would like to begin negotiating.
She's definitely looking like this is not going according to plan. Who is going to go next?
I think has Chrysanthemum gone yet?
Let her go next.
Okay.
I was going to say she started it off, so I think Chrysanthemum is the last one to go in the round.
Okay.
Then I will. I'll remove the bolt from my chest, and I will say, I'm just going to kind of stand here to see what you say. And meanwhile, why don't I just light up my hands with fire, just so you know that I'm a sorcerer, the other sorcerer besides that big guy. So just so you know that, and I will do that.
All right.
I would like to, if I may, kind of to push her to maybe give us some info about where we need to go. I'd like to spend a point of intimidation to piggyback on what Kaburi has done.
Okay. Trying to think what she's going to do here. She suddenly realizes. Okay, so it's back to her. So it's new round. Back to her. You let her. You said she's going to go first. So I think what she's going to do is, yeah, you are asking her for information.
Real difference between us continuing this and you walking out of here alive.
She is going to use one of her special abilities.
She shoots me again. I'm be so pissed.
So angry. No.
Teach me to keep my
Bill-
trap shot, though.
Yeah, villains. The way it works in just like stepping back a little bit about the mechanics of the game. Villains in this game, they have their own pool of kind of like general points. It's called a pool of malice points, and they just spend that for all of their stuff. Many of them have special abilities that have a number of points that they can spend to activate. So she is yeah, she does like a trick from one of the from a kung fu movie. She like pulls a small she pulls a small ceramic sphere, throws it on the ground. There's a small explosion and a poof of smoke. And she is going to attempt to get away by running deeper into the house. I am making a.
May I have my intimidation point back then?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead
Since
and
that spin didn't seem to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's right. You spent an intimidation point.
Yeah, not necessarily to get her to agree to us, but to like maybe slip and give us some info. But if she's going to take off
Got
like
it.
that, is
Okay.
cool.
Okay. I thought you were trying to do that to like make her. I guess I misunderstood. At this point she's trying to cut and run.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take that back. I thought you were trying to intimidate her into like backing down and not attack you. And
No,
yeah,
all cool.
I have a question. I have
Sure.
preparedness at 8, which lets me do a flashback.
Yes.
Could I use that flashback to say basically that Kaburi had previously obtained the plans from when they remodeled this house, and she's now standing at basically the only way to get deeper in the house from this little foyer area. When Dinestra attempts to scramble away in this little smoke cloud.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let me just double check and make sure I know. That's awesome, and that's totally going to happen. I just want to be true to the. I just want to be true to the rules. I'm just going to look up to make sure I fully understand how that works. Okay. If you talent flashback, if your preparedness is 8 or more, you can narrate a flashback where your group prepared a secret plan in the past, even if no one had been aware until now. Examples include to declare that a foe's breakfast that morning was poisoned. A portal normally kept locked and barred is left ajar. A dagger smuggled in earlier is hidden beneath your chair. You've previously bribed one of the 2 armed mercenaries, blah, blah, blah. You must have had the opportunity and the means to set up the action. Okay, yes, you've read the plans. Let's see here. If the action required a test, then your collaborators must make it successfully. The fait accompli. So, example, a suspect is fleeing from you across the densely packed rooftops of one of the 4 districts. It's common to have planks of wood between buildings. Using flashback, you announce that your prophecy warned you about this, so you previously had an ally partially saw through one of the wooden planks that hangs above a pig pen. You then make a preparedness test.
Okay, should I make a preparedness test?
Yes, go ahead and make a preparedness test.
Okay. Let's see. What kind of resistance would I typically be looking at here with regards to a preparedness test? Because I've never made one before. So
yeah, it works pretty much the same way. I think I'm going to say this one is since you were just looking at, you weren't actually doing anything here other than like looking at you got a hold of the plans, you know the layout of the place. I'm going to say this is only a threshold 3. And again, the same way you roll a die, you spend the number of preparedness points that you wish to spend, and you can use refresh points.
Okay. Let's see. We got a whole lot of refresh points, but I've also got 8. I'll spend 2 of my preparedness points.
Okay.
So that'll to just make sure I succeed.
Right.
So, and I'll roll the green die for this. That's a total of 5.
Okay.
Or sorry, no, I spent 2. That's a total of 4. Sorry.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that beats that beats the threshold of this event. Okay, so there's a poof. She just trying to think. Would she have noticed you go in that? Yeah. Okay.
I would imagine she was probably staring really hard at White Ruin. And the other guy that's on fire.
I was going to ask you to. I was contemplating whether to ask you to make a stealth check, but I don't want that. I think it's just. I think this is cool. So yeah. So there's a poof of smoke. She turns to like run through this open doorway that was kind of to the side, but she runs smack into Elder Kaburi, who she didn't realize was there because you were also taking advantage of some of the smoke.
And
yeah, you are blocking her way.
And Kaburi just looks at her and, is of course holding 2 other knives, and says, "Again, I believe this is the time where you wish to negotiate." And I'm going to try for another sway on her. See if I can, see if I can hit that sweet spot again.
Go for it.
Let's see. I'll spend 2 more of my sway pool. And does anybody object to me spending 3 of our refresh points on this one? Okay. All right. So that'll be 3 and 2 out of my refresh pool. So that'll be a total of 5 plus this. The green one again. That's a total of 9 on the die for the sway roll.
Okay. Her threshold is, you got a 9. Yeah, her threshold was 4, so that exceeds it by 5. So yes, that is going to be another critical hit. So that'll be another 2d6 plus 1 damage, and the first die will do a minimum number of points equal to the number of points that you spent.
Okay, so that's a minimum of 5 on the first die. So the green die is going to be the first die, and the blue die will be the second die.
Okay.
Okay, the first die shifts to a 5. The green die will roll a 2, so that becomes a 5. And then the second die is 4, and then it's plus 1.
Yep.
So that's 10 total morale.
Okay, she needs to make a morale check. Okay, she made the morale check, but at the same time, so that means she's not like cowering. But I am going to say that at this point, you've cut off her escape route. At this point, she just like puts her hands in like, okay. This is not worth. He's not paying me enough. You want Anthony that badly. Right now, he's probably up on the rooftop garden.
I take that moment when she says rooftop garden to stop and turn and look at White Ruin and then look back.
And
It'll be okay.
Kaburi just looks at her and goes, "See, this could have been so simple."
I take her head and break her neck. Let's go. We know where to go now.
Oh, you're just gonna stone cold murder her now?
Completely.
Is everyone else going along with this, or just
I think
happens
there's
so
a bit
fast?
of a, huh.
Yeah, none of us are physically, I think, in a position to like directly intervene in that. Like Kaburi probably could have, would have probably wanted to use her as a contact, but I'm not thinking she probably didn't expect
No.
the White Ruin to just like do that. So she's probably just staring like.
She's mixed up with necromancy. People hate her. She's a villain. People scared of her. Okay, 6-1, happy. Maybe. Let's say next time, besides Anthony, if you're gonna kill someone that we know their name, you maybe check just next time will sound okay, Ruin? Maybe.
I'll think about it.
Thank you.
She could have had additional information that we could have used for other things, but
We only need to know one thing. Kaburi, where are those stairs? You have those plans.
Kaburi points.
I found out where the stairs were.
I was going to say
Off we go.
You absolutely know where. You absolutely know where it is. So as you go deeper into the house, one thing that you don't need that you just notice is this place. It strongly smells of death. As you go up, the smell gets less intense, and there's clearly been an attempt to like mask the smell. There's a lot of flowers. There's been some perfume, but it smells like a charnel house. You go up one floor. You go up 2 flights of stairs, down a hallway. Then there's another set of stairs up to a rooftop garden.
Do we refresh any of our points or health or anything after a scene, or?
So that combat scene is over. So your general points now refresh. Your general points reset. Your health and morale, however, remains where it is.
Okay.
Those of you who have, anyone who has, bind wounds, you can spend bind wounds to heal. As long as you are not wounded, you can spend bind wounds. So 2 points. So 1 point of bind wounds that you spend just automatically heals 2 points of someone else's health. And if someone has the Leechcraft skill, you can use that too. You can certainly use that to boost healing.
How does that Leechcraft work then?
I'm not sure if it's standard or if there's a special rule. Let me just look up Leechcraft. Leechcraft. With 1 rank of Leechcraft, you have enough experience to diagnose poisons and illnesses, treat injuries, and determine cause of death. 2, you have formal training as a physician. Spend. If you have at least 1 rank of bind wounds, a 1 point Leechcraft spend will restore 6 health for an ally.
But not for yourself.
If you are treating, there's a special rule on treating yourself.
Of course there is.
If I remember,
when you cast healing magic, it was more difficult to cast healing magic on yourself in GURPS.
Yeah. I think I don't want to spend the time to find it. I am pretty sure the rule is you heal yourself at half the normal rate, but I always thought that was kind of dumb. So I'm going to say that you can heal yourself as long as you're not wounded. You can heal yourself as well as an ally.
I will spend
so
1 point of Leechcraft.
So 1 point of Leechcraft will give you 6 points. Or each point of bind wounds will give you 2 points.
Okay, I'm all set then.
Okay.
Would you mind spending the other one for me? I'm at 0 on health. I don't know if we have any other options for healing either.
Absolutely. I will do that. I will spend my other point of Leechcraft to get you back 6 points.
Sweet. Thank you, small one.
And then maybe you'll take my not killing people without SKS first things first. I say that real quietly.
Real quietly, but just loud enough for him to hear. Okay, you make it onto the rooftop.
Before we get to the rooftop, I do want to stop and ask Raz, because I know that Raz has vigilance, and I would like to, before we peek our heads up, maybe, Raz, I know that you hear very well. Would you please maybe listen at the doorway before we go up? Maybe if we can just assess how many people are up there, or what we might be, what you might sense. Would that be okay?
Fine. So is there, I'm imagining as we're kind of heading up to the rooftop garden, maybe it's a spiral stair on the way up, and we get to the top and there's kind of a closed door that lets us out onto the roof. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Um,
There's a door that you'd open. It's like there's a little. It's almost looks like if you're looking at the roof, almost looks like a shed, but it's a building that's built over the opening to the staircase. So you'd get to the top, and then you'd like just open a normal door, and then you'd be standing on the roof.
and I can use my vigilance
Okay.
To detect.
Got it. I was going to say this doesn't require a spend. I'll just tell you. You motion people to be quiet. You press your ear to the door. You hear the sound of tapping, like metal on metal and also metal on stone. So tink 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 tink. It very if you wait a moment, it varies between like loud loud bangs, and then there seems to be a pause. Then it may switch to a bunch of like smaller taps. At the same time, you can't hear the words, but you hear the sound of like a man's voice just kind of like muttering to himself. And this is not immediately there, but it's probably, I mean, it's not just on the other side of the door, but it's loud enough you're able to hear it.
She also, it's actually her sense of smell that is very refined, and now she's sort of was overwhelmed, I think, by the smell of death. But now that she's further away, I'm wondering if she can smell anything interesting through the keyhole in the door.
Using her sense of smell.
She's maybe detecting are multiple people there, even if they're not talking. Like she can maybe detect.
You're pretty sure there's just one person on this roof,
Okay.
and it's whoever is tapping. If you were to make a guess, it is probably the sound of a sculptor who's sculpting in stone. As for smell, it's definitely, it's the Tangle, so it doesn't smell good per se, but it's definitely, now that as you're getting farther and farther like away from the basement of this building, the smell of death is getting less and less pronounced. I'm going to say, I see that you have spirit sight. I'm just going to tell you can't really see it per se, but there you are. You get the sense that there is some kind of spiritual entity that is close and isn't just White Ruin.
I think that's what she smells. She can sort of smell the magic.
Oh, okay. I like it.
And she's used to White Ruin's stench by now. So I'm wondering if I should sneak out there.
If I
Sounds
remember
a good idea.
correctly, you were doing this in broad daylight.
Yeah, I think it was early in the morning. It's overcast and dark today, though.
Well, actually, let me think here.
I could spend corruption and we have a snowstorm, maybe, or something like that.
Let's be a little more. Let's.
A blizzard, maybe.
Well, one of the things I could do is perhaps I could create smoke. I have my spell is in fire. Why don't I create smoke? That'll seem a little odd, and maybe then Raz can sneak out to assay the situation under cover of that.
So I also have this thing called
Ooh.
Where'd She Go, where it says you can disappear and pop up wherever and whenever you want to.
Oh yeah, you've got 8 points of stealth. Yeah. Where'd she go?
You have no need for my magic, and I will keep my points.
I'm like,
You know,
Briz,
oh yeah,
settle down.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that's the extra ability on stealth. Basically, you can do it's like Batman. You know, it's like, you know, they're there. You look away, you look back, and they're not there. Where'd they go?
Can I ease the door open and pop in a place that I think would be sufficiently hidden from?
Okay, you pop open the door. I know Roz is blind, so I can't quite tell you I mean, those of you who are standing behind and are looking through the so the roof of this building, it's pretty open. There is a number of like carved stone benches. It looks like there are it's a rooftop garden. There's a number of like fruit trees that are growing out of like small fruit trees that are growing out of planters. You know, there's some flower. You know, there's a flower bed. There's like a section that's, you know, basically it's a small lawn that's been, looks like it maybe had seen better days. It looks like there looks like that may have been a bocce court. But in the center, with his back to you, there is a youngish looking man who is carving with a mallet and a stone chisel, is carving a funerary statue, a big one. This one's like life size. The statue is of a woman, and it's pretty close to done. And Roz, once you open the door, I'm just going to tell you, because your spirit sight is just going pretty. Your spirit sight, it's the man who is doing the carving. I mean, you just know there's a demon in him.
I'd say it smells worse than White Ruin out here.
The smell is at first it actually smells very, very, very pleasant and inviting. You know, there's almost you know, there's like a sweetness and an oiliness to the smell.
She doesn't buy it.
But then once you think about it, like, no, this is not a good smell.
So I'm imagining there's maybe some shrubbery that she can pop up behind.
Yep.
So I'm going to do that to get an angle. And I don't know that there's anything I can report back to my friends here, but my inclination is just to be there when they confront. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can basically pop up in the scene where like and be where you want to with that ability. I think normally it would require a spend, but I just think for fictional positioning right now, I think we're cool with that.
Okay. I have so much stealth. I don't mind spending a point of stealth if you
Nope.
prefer.
That is cool. Okay, so
We take a quick break before we jump into the next thing.
I was just going to say before we before we really paint the scene, let's take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Back in 5.
You guys running anything at Gauntlet Con?
I was going to do something that was require some hacking energy. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run stuff that people want to play. So I'm going to run Mask and I'm going to run Brindlewood Bay. I'm just going to run stuff that I know people are looking to play. Because you get all fancy. And I was, no. Just run easy, fun stuff I like to run.
Yeah,
How about you?
I've signed up to run Trophy Dark.
Ooh, nice.
I think I put myself down to run Forest of Blades, although I'm having second thoughts of that because I ran that at Games on Demand online, and I've there. Let's just say there are other incursions that I've run that I thought were more fun to run. So I may change that up before.
Oh yeah, you got until the 1st of October to make that choice.
I am planning to run an abbreviated version of this very adventure. Sort of like the one shot the one shot less a little less leisurely version of Corpse Astray. Thinking about running one other game.
Don't go overboard. Don't go overboard. People, that's how people burn themselves out. That's what I'll say.
Run to play to. That's what you should do.
Run to play to. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. I was contemplating running Escape from Dino Island.
People are interested in that. Somebody's running Escape from Rancor Island as part of the Star Wars minicon we're doing at the beginning of December.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I've been toying back and forth whether I want to. This isn't for Gauntlet Con, but for the just for the regular calendar. I have been contemplating doing a series that I'm tentatively calling One Shot Wednesdays, aimed at new beginning players. Thinking about doing that in October. I'm a little just like Lowell, what you said about burning yourself out. If I were to do that, that would mean that I am. If I were to do that, that would mean that I would be GMing 3 games a week for a month. It seems a little. I'm a little hesitant to do that just because I don't necessarily want to burn myself out.
I used to do 5 regularly for the last 3 years, and I have dialed back to 3, sometimes 4, depending on the weekend. But yeah, it's an easy way to kill yourself.
I may do it anyway, just to see how it goes. I don't have anything on the calendar for November yet, so we'll figure that out.
One shots are great for November because then you can work around Thanksgiving and holidays and stuff. That's the thing is November and December both become kind of problematic for running.
Yeah, I think maybe you'll do one shot. Yeah, and also with Gauntlet Con in there and other stuff. Yeah, I'll probably do a One Shot Wednesday series for November and just see how that goes. Anyway, anyone else doing anything for Gauntlet Con?
No.
Yeah, I'm running 2 sessions, Thursday and Friday morning, Eastern. Both games that I designed. A game about superhero team-ups, and one is a game about it's called World of Gamma, and it was my submission to the one-page RPG, and it's my homage to Gamma World because I missed that game.
Oh, Gamma World was my second RPG. I played my D&D back in the 80s, back in the early 80s. My D&D group, a couple of our moms bought into the Satanic Panic thing, and we couldn't play D&D. Like, okay, we want to play. Okay, but we're not playing D&D. This game is called Gamma World. See?
It's got cute animals.
Yeah, cute animals on the cover. And it's basically, I mean, in those days it was basically just D&D, but the spells were reskinned as mutations. Anyway, so you are on this rooftop garden.
I think White. Go ahead.
So you're on this rooftop garden. I was just going to say. So what is your plan, folks? The guy who's working on the statue he totally has his back to you and seems to be muttering to himself. He does not appear to have realized you are there.
So I think we left with Roz kind of like scouting ahead, and maybe we agreed to like wait for 5 minutes or whatever. So I think I look up from like this stone tablet that I've been looking at, and I want to burn a point of forgotten lore just to kind of like, and we don't have to explain it right now, but I've been reading about this demon off this tablet, so maybe I'll have some sort of advantage going forward. But I say, I think it's been long enough. Let's go find this this necromancer.
Got it.
Free the demon.
Regarding burning the point, I'd say hang on to that for now, and then burn
Okay.
it when you know which. Burn the point when you know what you want to do with it.
Okay.
What is your plan, gentlemen?
I think White Ruin gets up and, knocks the door not down. He doesn't. He listened to Byzantimus, so he opens this door, but goes right through into the garden.
Okay. So I'm guessing that White Ruin, not being particularly stealthy, like throws the door open and then starts stomping, and that at that the sculptor stops and like sets his chisel down and like turns around on his stool and is a little shocked and says, "Oh, hello there. I'm sorry. Did we have an appointment?"
Uxoriath, I am here to free you from this fool.
Wait, what? Hold on. What do you know of Uxoriath?
More than you would ever know. So maybe in my forgotten lore, is there any hints how I could separate this guy from the demon inside him? Other than, the old-fashioned way.
Right. Well, that's so I'm going to say so yeah, go ahead and spend that. I'm going to give you a bit of an info dump here. So from what you have learned from your research on this this tablet of demonology, Uxoriath is a demon / lesser god that was worshipped in the dim and distant past and doesn't really have any worshippers anymore. He is a demon of he's a demon of honeyed words, of like talking your way through things, of negotiations, of let me pull up the notes on this so I am not forgetting something.
In White Ruin, he's very task oriented. He doesn't really care much about the lore, honestly, but
Got it.
he's more about, I just want, I got to get a job done here.
Got it. Yeah, I'm just okay. Here we are. Yeah, he is the he's a demon of manipulation. He's a demon that tries to tries to get what it or it's the creatures or the beings that have summoned it will generally summon it for the ability to persuade and to get their way and to cloud the eyes of others. But Uxoriath doesn't do anything for anyone unless he gets something out of it too. As for how to get him out, well, sometimes you can convince a demon to leave a host through persuasion, or giving it a better offer, or letting it know that or like threatening it with some kind of holy relic that could destroy it. There are ways. Go on.
My assumption, tell me if I'm wrong, but my assumption is that this demon has been pulled from, hell or whatever, and has been bound, to this plane or to this service to this person. So I'm working from an assumption that it wants to be free. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes demons will Sometimes demons will volunteer their services to someone in the hopes that they will manipulate their host into doing something that will further whatever the demon's plans are. So
Okay.
So the demon isn't necessarily there against its will. In fact, more often than not with demons, it's more likely that a demon is going to inhabit a human body against the human's will. Or sometimes a human will let it in and then realize that it doesn't want to leave.
So I think I forget where we left off in our conversation, but I think I'll say something like, those from below must be free. Let the demon free, or I will free it by tearing you apart.
Hey, whoa! How'd you get it? What, he's very flustered, and he's clearly pretty scared by this. Let's see. Wait a minute. Let's have a rational talk about this, like reasonable human beings. And he looks you up and down.
I shake my head and start to stomp towards him. I do not speak. I'm not interested in your words.
Okay.
Turn to Kaburi, who's probably nearest to me. I know Roz is probably within earshot. I say, is there any reason that we should stop him from going after this guy? Do you see any reason?
The guy is apparently voluntarily, gotten himself possessed by this demon. I'm not sure there's a whole lot to redeem there, but if anybody has any ideas,
then I'll stand there and get the rest of my sandwich out and wait and see what happens.
I will look around and see if there's any obvious satchels full of files or anything or records that I could be going through while White Ruin is, doing whatever horrible thing he's preparing to do to this poor fellow.
I was going to say up here on the roof, probably no. This is like a formal garden. There aren't really many buildings. In fact, if it were to rain, you probably wouldn't want to be out here.
Does Anthony have any weapons on
him? Well,
bocce balls. Probably. Remember this establishes the bocce court.
There is a bocce court. He's got a sculptor's like mallet and a chisel, and I think he's still got his chisel in his hand. Let me get his stats because it looks like we are about to get into a fight.
I'm wondering if I can sneak up to him and, take anything of value, but I think it would help Ruin out if I took his weapons away.
Okay. Yep. Yes. The stats are. I'll just read it because it is hilarious. Offense: warfare +1, damage modified +0, weapon untrained flailing. Let's see what he's got here.
Would we have a sense of what happens if we kill the host body to what happens to the demon?
Probably, if you kill the host body, the demon is certainly going to leave it. The demon may conceivably leave it sooner than that. Demons' plans are often inscrutable.
I think I'm going to.
So as
But you say demon plans are almost are somewhat inscrutable. Let me put a pin in that. We do have some sorcery as things, and I have forgotten lore and prophecy. Is there any way I can get a spend out of that will tell me, boy, killing this guy's a really bad idea, or not?
Sure. Yeah, if you want to spend a point of.
How about a point of prophecy? Because we haven't seen that in action yet.
Sure.
Yeah, I kind of put my finger up. I'm like setting my mind out in the future, and if it shows me my dead body, that's when we're going to change our plans.
Okay, go ahead and make your spend. Glimpse of the future. The glimpse of the future that you see is a erupting up from the basement of this building is a horrific a horrific horror of dozens of corpses that have been stitched or magically glommed together. It's almost like a blob, but it's made of corpses. It's with like scores of limbs that are flailing about. It kind of half rolls, half skitters up out of the basement, crashes through the front door, and starts going on a rampage through the city. That's what you see in the future.
I say, important safety tip: don't kill the guy, because everything goes terribly wrong if you do. Don't murder him right now, and it goes wrong in a terribly non-demon way, in a more necromantic way.
I was about to reach for the guy. And
necromantic way.
I say, by his man, I get your name wrong every time. Bismantius, you've shown some wisdom, so I will pause. What is it that you see? Why should I not kill this fool?
If you kill him,
as you approach him, he's like backing away.
I'm making my gesture because I know probably isn't seeing Raz, so I'm kind of like making sure that Raz is like, I'm like, oh, maybe go that way. That's as subtle as I can be. And I say, if we kill him and release that demon, it will release a massive undead corpse swarm monster that will burst out upon us and destroy everything. So let's start with not killing him and letting the demon loose immediately until we can figure out a way to neutralize the whole corpse carnival.
Tell us how we can stop this corpse carnival from destroying everything.
Right.
Speak quickly, or your life depends on it.
Wait.
And your soul. I'll use an intimidation if I need to.
Okay. He's like, let's just all take. Okay. At this, we'll let's see here. He is going to now that you've been basically openly talking about like murdering or not murdering this guy in his own home. He realizes that his life is indeed in danger. So he starts so as he's backing up with his hands above him, like, all right, everyone, we just need to hash this out like normal, rational people.
I punch him in the face.
Well,
I knock him down. I said, how do we stop the corpse carnival? None of this other garbage. Answer the question.
Well, as I was, as I, the GM, was saying, as he's saying this, this is it's a magical effect.
Can I have the jump on him since I was pretty much primed right there?
Yeah. Just trying to figure out how this power works. Okay, so when he says, "Wait, everyone, let's just discuss this like normal, rational people," it's a magical effect, and it's everyone in earshot has a choice. They can either do what he says, or take 3 morale damage. I think I know what White Ruin's about to do.
Yeah, I'll take the damage and knock his teeth out.
Okay.
Speak another word. Answer my question. Any other words, and I'll take my narwhal horn and I'll put it to his throat.
Okay.
I have a different thing I would like to do if we can kind of go around and get declarations here.
I was going to say, why don't we do that?
So I'm going to look at Elder Kaburi and Raz, and I will say, I'm going to go downstairs and see if I can incinerate some corpses in case this goes really, really wrong. I will, if anyone wants to come with me, you can, but it's going to be really, really unpleasant down there. And I will take off down the stairs.
I think Kaburi will follow, trying to giving him directions as to where they would have to be storing this huge number of corpses, given the layout of this building.
And I'm going to stay with the White Ruin to make sure he doesn't do anything abrupt.
More abrupt.
Especially abrupt.
Okay. Why don't okay, so we're gonna split this. We're gonna split the scenes here. I think we're gonna more or less do man. I was not expecting this scene to play out this way. Okay, so you've got Anthony. So yeah, I'm gonna say White Ruin. Yeah, you've punched. Yeah, you ignored the magical persuasion that he tried to throw on you, and I'm gonna say yeah, you've just for fictional positioning, you punched him. He lost balance, and now he's like on his back on the ground.
Mike, do we subtract our armor, our grit from that 3 damage, the morale damage?
Yes, you may subtract your grit from the morale damage.
I think at that point, I will try and step between with the White Ruin and Anthony, staff raised, and just saying, okay, you've made your point. Let's not release the demon and the corpse parade.
I think at that we are going to shift scene to Brysantimus and Elder Kabori as you are heading downstairs. The smell is getting worse and worse as you head down, and you're pretty sure that Brysantimus, in your prophecy, it came from the basement, and it kind of like made its way up these up a fairly wide stairway. So you open what Elder Kaburi knows is the basement door. You go downstairs, and it smells like a charnel house. it's a pretty this clearly wasn't originally the basement. This was clearly originally like the first like the main entrance to this building, because this is Eversink and buildings regularly sink. And as you head down, you hear the sound of like lapping water, like perhaps there's an entryway into the canals from underneath here. So the place is somewhat cavernous. It's all masonry. There's a and you can hear ahead of you. You can hear what's you can hear the splash of water.
I'm just
So
hunting for corpse storage.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically, in this big room, there has been a large pit that's been chopped into the floor, into the level below, and that seems to be where they were just kind of like throwing corpses. There is a small makeshift dock that is There's basically an opening in the side of the building where the canal can flow in, and it looks like that's where they were bringing the small boats to and from, which you couldn't see from street side. This, by the way, was not on the plans that you had. There's no indication that there was a water entrance. This looks like it's been built much more recently. And yeah,
I
there's
think Kaburi indicates that to Chrysanthemus that this is new. The construction down here, because it's not on the original plans, is probably less stable than the main construction of the house. So that could be something we could make use of.
And you see me just at this moment, like jamming things in my nose. And I've got, for my various perfume things, I'm just jamming it all in there. And then, because I have oil flasks listed on my character as my gear, I am going to take half of them and hand them to Kaburi, and I'm going to pop open the other half, and we're going to start pouring that down the hole.
Okay. Meanwhile, back on the roof, you've got Anthony like on the ground. He's got his hands up, like, okay, fine. What do you want to know?
So if he doesn't like that, I don't kill him, but I draw some blood on his neck with that narwhal horn. I said, how do we stop the corpses?
What corpses? What are you even talking about?
Down in the basement. By
They have to pay for what they did to us. They had to.
How do we stop it?
You can't stop it. It's going to happen. It has to happen.
This guy's useless. Raz, you got anything before I break his neck?
Don't break his neck, please. Let's just keep him talking. So
He's some sort of enchanter or something. The demon uses its honeyed voice through his words. I would beware allowing him to speak freely.
I ask, who needs to pay for what?
Raz, I'm just going, but before I answer that question, I just want to let you know that with your spirit sight, every word that Anthony says, it sounds to you like it's two different distinct voices that are talking in unison. No one else hears it. It's basically only someone with spirit sight could determine that.
Can I talk directly to the demon?
Oh, absolutely.
I say to the demon, what is your purpose here?
So at this point, there's you all like both White Ruin and Roz hear a kind of like disembodied voice that's coming from the that is coming from the artist who's on the ground, and it says, "Look, look, 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 look. Yeah. So I think there's been a big misunderstanding here. Like, look, don't kill Anthony. He's kind of not sure what he's doing." And to that, Anthony and then Anthony says, "Wait, what do you mean I don't know what I'm doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm doing everything that you told me to do." And then the demon says, and then the other voice says, "Yeah, okay. I gotta think I'm done here." And there's a kind of a glow around Anthony, and this kind of like golden, like honey colored glow, like comes out of his mouth and kind of like floats next to him, and then coalesces into it's kind of it's insubstantial, but it coalesces into an indistinct and you can see right through it. It's translucent, but it's this indistinct short humanoid form. It's maybe only like 2.5 feet tall. It's this like glowing goldeny yellow color, but the one and you can't really make out any of its features other than its mouth. It's got a very, very wide, smiling mouth. That's the most distinct feature of this thing. To that, it says like, "Hey, I'm sorry, Anthony, but I think we got a little bit of a change of plans here. Hey, you know what, folks? Anthony was, he's well. Why don't you let him tell the story?" Meanwhile, in the basement, so you're dumping the oil onto the corpses. Are you lighting it on fire, or are you looking down into it now to get a better look? What are you all doing?
Well, I guess, yeah. Well, we'll kind of hold a torch over it and take a peek on down.
So it isn't just bodies. I mean, it's not just a pile. At first, it looks like it's just a pile of bodies, but then when you look at it a little more closely, you realize that the various bodies are like literally like melded and merged with each other. It's utterly vile. Whatever magic, and it's also clearly this is not done via surgery. This was done via magic. It's mostly human. It's mostly human corpses. There's at least one horse. There's a couple of pigs.
Kaburi, you're going to want to step back.
And I'm just going to say that as you're looking down at this, and as you've been like pouring the oil, that's when it starts to twitch.
Well, that's the point at which I breathe frickin' dragon fire down onto it out of my mouth. And I will spend corruption on that and let loose.
Well, I was going to say that as the as it starts to twitch, I was going to cut back to the other scene.
Okay, yeah, I think that it's twitch, flame fills the camera, and then we cut.
I love it.
So I think
Meanwhile, back on the roof.
When we see this figure, this glowing figure, I think White Ruin kind of like takes a knee and kind of bows his head, and he says, "Excellent, you are free. You can do as you please now."
To which the demon like looks at you. It looks at you. It looks at the utterly terrified like sculptor that's on the ground right now and says, well, actually, we he gestures at Anthony. We had a little bit of a partnership going. Let's do. If it were up to me, we'd continue it. Isn't that right, Anthony? And Anthony's like, yes, but you can go away now if they're gonna kill me if you come back. Like, to which the demon continues like, yeah, well, he sought me out for a little problem he was trying to solve. He's the lost scion of a noble family that doesn't want to have anything to do with him, just because his mom married someone they didn't approve of, so they cut him out of the will. And Anthony says, and yes, and for that they have to pay. They have to pay.
I think I'm just going to grab Anthony and I'll say, Exoriath, you are free. I am going to take this one to the basement and he will tell us how to stop his monstrosity. So yeah, I'm going to grab Anthony, start dragging him towards the stairs.
Okay. Yeah, that Exoriath says, okay then, I guess I'll just be going. And at that he it's almost like a transporter effect from Star Wars. He like breaks up into this like cloud of little golden motes. And the last thing that disappears was like his big, like wide grinning smile of a mouth. And that fades like the Cheshire Cats. Okay, so meanwhile, in the basement, yeah, this massive thing is now starting to come to life. Now that you have basically broken now that you've dismissed Xoriath, who was the one who was actually keeping this thing under control, it is now animating and is coming out. So I'm just going to say that this started off with Chrysanthemum basically making a free magical attack here. So why don't you go ahead and let's go ahead and figure out how much damage your dragon fire is going to do.
How do we? So I've spent a point of corruption.
Yep.
All
Spend a
right.
point of corruption. So I guess this is going to be a magic attack.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and make a sorcery attack on this thing. And
Okay.
depending on how you want to do it, the point of corruption could it could cause it's going to cause an extra die of damage.
Well, I am going to drop 6 on this attack.
Okay.
And I am going to reroll selected. So that will be a 10 total.
Nice. Where are its stats? One thing that's annoying about the playtest edition of this book is that it is not well laid out.
No, it is not.
Which of course it isn't, because it's the pre-layout edition.
Right.
Come on, I know it's in here somewhere. Ugh. Okay. So I'm sorry. What was your total roll there?
10.
10. Okay.
10 plus the spend from corruption.
Nice. Yeah, that is going to exceed its yeah, that exceeds its health threshold by 5. So you get another die. You get another die of damage.
Okay. So the first die is at least a 6, so I'll just roll one die.
Well, you get one. You're getting 2 extra damage dice. One for getting 5 over its threshold, and you get another damage die for your corruption spend.
Okay.
Question
So
on
I'll
your-
roll.
And question on your corruption spend: are you corrupting yourself?
I
or are
will
you
take that
corrupting the
inside. I
environment?
don't. There's enough corruption around here. I don't want to add to it. I'm just gonna eat that up.
What does how does this magic corrupt your body?
Oh, I think I'm going to feel the fire as I do this, and I'm probably going to get some pretty hefty burns on my hands that I don't quite get them out of the way in time as I'm kind of in front of there that are going to look kind of unpleasant for quite a while.
Okay.
So it's effectively 3 dice.
Effectively 3 dice.
Okay. All right. So the first die is a 6, and then I'm going to roll the other 2, which is another 6 total. So 12 points.
12, and then magic is always +1, so that's going to be 13 points.
Ooh, that's a fancy number. And this time is probably more like purple flames coming down, and I'm coughing and stepping back, and my hands are probably, I'm trying to put them out, and I'm like, oh, you might want to fall back further, Kabari.
I wished I'd taken the time to set this stuff up ahead of time. Okay, so are you letting the next participant be Kabori or the hideous monster?
Let's have the hideous monster go.
Okay.
Bring it.
So it is this indescribably hideous creature, just that's made of just scores of mostly human, but also some animal corpses. You know, like writhes and like basically scurries up the side of this pit. This thing's huge. It's like, you know, it's like 15. It's like a 15-foot. It's like a 15-foot diameter sphere, more or less, but it doesn't really keep a regular shape. And it basically kind of like rolls and swarms at you.
Yep, that's what I saw.
Yeah, pretty much. This exactly matches your prophecy. Corpse Shoggoth. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's let's see. So it is going to attempt an attack roll. I am spending that amount. Okay, so I got a 10. I think it was primarily attacking. I think it was primarily attacking Mr. Sorcerer, who just breathed dragon fire on it. What is your threshold?
4.
Okay. Well, it exceeded your threshold, so
Oh, yes.
it does have cleave, so it's actually attacking both of you.
What are you gonna do?
So let's see. That is let's see, 7, 5. Okay, so it does a total of 10 points of damage divided evenly between two of you. So that's going to be 5. That's going to be 5 health each. Your armor applies. As this thing swarms up, and it's like dozens of limbs are just kind of flailing, and it's just kind of like smacking you around, and it's very difficult to defend against. I think that's going to go to Elder Kaburi.
After scrambling back after getting slammed by this flaming corpse thing, she basically is scrambling back towards the stairs, and she will scream at Chrysanthemous that this thing is too big. We need to I think we need to make use of the terrain against it. And what I mean by that is basically collapse the damn place on top of it.
I think that's gonna happen naturally, but okay.
You literally want to bring the house down. Got it.
And let's see. I think this thing seemed to latch on to Chrysanthemous since Chrysanthemous heard it. I think what Kaburi is going to do in order to attempt to distract it a little is to basically toss some knives around. I think basically because there's so much new construction here to basically open this place up to that canal entrance and such, there's just a lot of stuff stacked up lying around, like crates that they had smuggled the corpses in, that sort of thing that have been stacked up. And I think she's going to basically toss a couple of knives and sort of cause things to collapse on it from other angles and see if it can be distracted in order to give us a chance to scramble up these stairs.
Okay, you're trying to distract it.
Right. I don't know if I'm presuming that would be kind of a sway. Basically, I'm to basically convince it to focus on in some other direction.
Okay. Yeah. So that's actually so when you're making an attack to do something other than just straight up damage it, that's called a maneuver, and that it works pretty much the same way. You make a normal attack roll, and if your attack is successful, then your maneuver is successul, and the positioning happens. So you're trying to distract it, like basically go over there while you go toward the stairs that are that way.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So yes, that'll be a sway attack.
Okay. I'll spend 3 of my sway points. And let's see. Actually, you know what? I really want this to work. I think I'm gonna spend 6 of them.
Okay.
So.
You want to burn some tokens too?
I'm hoping I won't need to for this.
Oh, you know what?
Because we're probably going to need that to have some big whammy fall on it in shortly. Because The distraction is probably not where we want to blow all the tokens on.
Okay.
Got it. And you know what? You did defeat Dinestra pretty handily, so I forgot to give you some tokens for that.
So I'm hoping the plus
There's-
6
so
on
there-
this
so
will,
there are
will
some
do
more-
it.
So there are some more tokens. So yeah.
All right, I'm going to re-roll the green die,
Okay. And how many points total are you spending?
6, out of my sway budget.
Are you're spending 6 sway? Are you spending any refresh tokens?
No.
Okay.
That is a total of 8.
Okay. You have exceeded its threshold by 5, so that is going to give you a that is going to give you a bonus die.
Okay, so the
so
first die
basically
is
the
a
way-
6. So
I know you're.
sorry.
I know this is a. So with the sway attack. With a sway attack maneuver, basically you have to get through its. Go ahead and do some damage. You've got to get past its grit in order for it to fall for your ruse. And this thing has a really high grit. So this is going
I've
to
got
be
6. I've got 6 on the first die, and
6 on the
then I'll
first die, you
roll the
gotta-
second die.
Yep, you've got a second die. If you want to make an investigative point spend, that could add another die.
Well, I
Or
Hmm.
you know, or you got at least 6 points there. So that would be a really high grit.
well, let's try to. I have a point of no monstrosities. I will spend it.
Absolutely.
I've heard of corpse constructions, not exactly like this, but similar enough to hope that I can understand how it might react.
Got it. In
to
fact, you've
stimulus. So
with that no monstrosities. Now that you've seen this thing in action, you actually know what necromancers call this thing. It's called
Ooh.
It's called a flesh tangle.
you.
It's a it's actually I mean, for as horrific a thing, you just know that this is normally creating a monster such as this would require like really advanced necromancy.
Gotcha. All right. So our boy has really gone deep on this. Okay, I'm going to roll the green and the blue dice as the 2 damage dice to be rolled.
Okay.
That's a total of 12. It looks like.
Okay.
On
Okay.
the 2 dice plus the 6 from
Got it.
previously. So
It's I'm going to say it 100% falls. So this is the maneuver to distract it. It 100% completely falls for your ruse. Where does it go, and basically it's going to go where you want it to go. Where do you want it to go?
I think it's going to basically tumble towards one of the interior parts of and one part of the newer construction.
Okay.
Part of this basement where they've had to basically revamp how the support structure in here, and it's basically banging around where those new supports are in order to get it where it thinks those bad guys are.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, I just saw the chat. That's really funny. Okay, I think this is when White Ruin and Roz entered this scene. So you went last. Who do you wish to go next?
I think it makes sense for White Ruin to kind of stomp down the stairs with Anthony in tow as this thing's basically smashing around the other side of the basement.
What are we trying to do? What's the plan for
Bring-
killing this thing?
Well, lighting it on fire annoyed it, but maybe bring the building down on it after as we are getting out of the building.
Okay.
And she points, that part of the structure over there is sufficiently weak that White Ruin, you may be able to bring enough physical force to bear to start a cascade effect, especially with that thing smashing around over there amongst the supports.
I'll just
Okay.
point out that there is one other obvious egress from this place, and that is the opening into the canal. There is not a boat here, so you'd have to swim for it.
Okay.
I know how disgusting those canals almost certainly are. No, we're back up that way.
So I'm gonna run in, and I'm gonna, like, what's his name? Anthony.
Yep.
I'm gonna take him and I'm gonna like push / throw him towards it, and I'll say hello to your baby, and then I'll go and I'll start pushing on the supports or whatever to start trying to bring this place down.
Okay. You have thrown Anthony at the flesh tangle, and
Maybe he'll take a hit for us.
I was gonna say he he slams right into the thing, and he's screaming, "No, it's all gone wrong!" And at that point, several of the arms and like the hoof of a pig just like wrap him up, and like one hand like goes into his mouth and like is pulling him in, and much like you snapped Dynastra's neck, this thing snaps Anthony's neck, and his body like melds into the flesh tangle. You have one less NPC to worry about, at least.
Right.
Did you say you wanted to do something else with the supports?
Yeah, I was gonna do like what Kaburi was saying to try to like get things more unstable, start bringing down the roof.
Okay.
How what do I use, like warfare points to do that, or
I think at this point, I'm glancing at the time here. I am I think at this point, I like the idea that you're like literally bringing the house down on this thing. I am just going to say that for the sake of, I think I'm going to invoke the rule of cool. Oh, and by the way, when I like tomorrow on the Pelgrane Press Discord, I'm 100% telling the designer of this game that you literally brought Noble House down on the onto the flesh tangle. I never would have thought that. I just think this is really, really cool. So yeah, I'm going to say your plan works. So what are you? So you're using like a weapon or something to like smash at the supports, or are you using magic to do it, or like how are you?
Yeah,
going
I mean, I
about...
guess since we're just kind of So I think why don't we just do the whole? We'll use all the tools. So maybe one of my spheres is like wind. So maybe there's like this maelstrom of wind, icy wind with like screaming demons swirling around me, and it gives me this incredible strength and power, and I ram into one of these columns and it starts to collapse, and maybe right before it smashes everything, I jump in the canal.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Awesome. The rest of you, you're like how are you leaving this building as it starts to collapse?
I'm not confident that Roz ever came down. I think she felt the rumbles, heard the rumbles, and she's more comfortable on the rooftops anyway. She took one look at Ruin sort of tearing down the stairs and was like, I'm out of here. And she has jumped to a subsequent or a nearby rooftop and is just sort of standing there admiring the thing coming down.
I I love it. So
I,
you basically you like parkour your way back down the side of the building, and you're now on the street as you can see the you know um, the secondary masonry facade is starting to like crack and like fall away.
Flames emerge.
I love it.
I think Kaburi basically walks out one of the rarely noted side exits, usually designed for servants to empty night soil and things like that, and just like walks out and still slowly removing the veil, taking a whiff as she's walking away, and then raising the veil back up as the more of that smell starts to waft back out as the building collapses and all of that pent up gases starts to vent.
Yeah, gross. Chrysanthemus, how are you escaping this collapsing building?
oh, I think that's me falling in the water. And desperately dog paddling, with this horrible water on my burns. It's not pretty.
Got it. So yeah, the house basically is imploding. It's because you've cut most of the supports that were inside, and so the the center of it starts to collapse in, and then the rest of it just kind of like implodes in, burying and presumably crushing the flesh tangle. Oh, and as and as the building is shaking and is starting to collapse, um, there's this big puff of like dust and debris that like blows out the front door, and a figure walks and a figure walks out, like rubbing the back of its head, and it's Vivi, who just like is and Vivi is just like walking out of this building just as it's collapsed, like more or less nonchalant. And the lot of you like watch this building just kind of implode, and all this debris land on top of that horrific undead monstrosity that had been inside. And that prophecy that you had seen, Chrysanthemus, of this flesh tangle, like running amok through the city, killing scores, if not hundreds, that does not come to pass.
Good. We're still not getting paid for it, but fair enough.
That is more or less what I prepared. I really thought this was going to go another way. I had some what was it called, the council. I had a little bit of a B plot that I was thinking about for Elder Kaburi's. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name. The Council of Tides. The Council of Tides thread that
Court of Tides, but
Court of Tides.
yeah.
Excuse me. The Court of Tides. I think we've only got really half an hour left to play. I don't really think I want to add another plot element at this point. I had fun with this. I was really not expecting this to go straight into the like let's just kill everybody. You never like what Anthony was attempting to do was never revealed. Well, I mean, or his motivations.
Sound like he wanted revenge for being cut out of the will, more or less.
Yeah, correct. And he'd made a deal. There was a magical grimoire that never came into play, which is where he learned the. There was in the printed adventure, there are a few more plot hooks on what to do with that grimoire that's now like buried. That's now buried in the ruins of this collapsed house. Yeah, I think I think like a 1970s fantasy movie that doesn't wrap everything up nicely in a bow. Yeah, your White Ruin and Chrysanthemum like pull themselves out of the canal, like dripping wet with kind of somewhat foul water, and join your companions as you just watch this. You watch this building collapse in on itself, and the magical fires that Chrysanthemum had started, is like continuing to burn. And you watch this, collapse and this burn, and the presumed destruction of the flesh tangle as the credits roll.
I think White Ruin would like reach into his bag and pull out a stone tablet, and it's got, we see over his shoulder, and he pulls out his knife and he scratches out the name Xoriath, and the next name is like Demogorgon, and he walks away.
Killing demons and taking names.
Well, he's not killing them, he's freeing them.
Got it. Any little epilogue for as the any little epilogue vignettes as the credits roll? I think we just saw White Ruins.
Yeah, I think again I am perpetually 3 days from retirement, but White Ruin I'm not too worried about. But I still owe Raz and Elder Kaburi for dragging them out on that quest at the beginning that didn't pay off. So we'll I've got new plans. So it's me like pitching them a new idea that this is going to be great.
To that, Raz says whatever the equivalent of "Okay, Boomer" is, and is Anthony still alive, or did he come to his untimely demise? He's gone.
Oh, yeah. No, he became one with his undead monstrosity.
I think maybe if some goons made it out, I've recruited them to work in the soup kitchen, and I'm like, see, isn't this better? Isn't this better than stealing corpses? And that's how we end it for Ross.
I'm pretty sure the only ones that survived were the ones that literally ran away from the White Ruin as he was walking up to the house. Like they looked at him and went, nope, 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 and ran. I think those are the only two that survived.
Right.
I rounded those guys up.
I mean, there were other corpse takers that had worked for Denastra that are let's just and the final scene is a canal boat that's pulling up to the now smoldering ruins of Noble House, with a couple of with two guys dressed in the fake corpse taker uniforms that are looking at each other like, oh man, what are we gonna do with these? And he points to he points to this like soiled tarp that's over what would appear to be a pile of garbage, but there's like a human hand that's like underneath, that's coming out from under that. Like, oh man, what are we gonna do with those?
I think the scene for Elder Kaburi is basically her sitting at the tavern across from Chrysanthemum there with Raz, and is puffing on her ridiculously fancy pipe, and she says, those are some very interesting ideas, Chrysanthemum, but I have a plan. And then it looks like she's unfurling this map to lay out on the table. It involves the Court of Tides.
I love it. Folks, I really enjoyed this game. This was fun. I wish I was a little more familiar with the rules before I wish I'd taken a little more time to refamiliarize myself with the rules. I was kind of like resting on my knowledge of playing this game for close to a year, but it had been about a year since I'd played it. So I should have refreshed things. But yeah, I thought this played out pretty well. I thought this was a fun story. I really like these characters. Depending on my schedule and your schedules, at some point, I would love to try to get us all to, play another session. Whether that's on Gauntlet or off. But I would love to see these characters again. I think they were really, really a lot of fun.
Sounds good. I've played the White Ruin a few times. Whenever there's like a fantasy thing, I usually pull him out and chew on scenery for a while.
Yeah, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Is he always a demon hunter? Or...
Yeah, pretty much. It's always some demonish sort of thing. Yeah.
I like that.
I think of us all, I got the most sword and sorcery vibe from the White Ruin. Like that whole concept, like that's like sword and sorcery meets heavy metal album cover all over the place.
Right. Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what you're looking for, Mike, because I know in the beginning you mentioned like Thieves World and stuff, which is a different kind of vibe completely than I guess where I was going. I was thinking more like Conan kind of thing, so.
Yeah, when Thieves World was a definitely a touchstone for like the conception I had. In the year-long campaign, or not quite year-long campaign, we were running it somewhere between Thieves World and Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. We didn't really have a Conan or a Red Sonja type back then. None of us were really. We had one character who was known to be like one of the great swordsmen. He had 3 warfare. It was all sway. He convinced. He rarely killed anybody. He rarely injured anyone in combat. He would usually use his fancy moves to convince people that they needed to surrender.
Yeah, that's interesting that they have the different ways that you can fight, the sway fighting. So you can have guys that are kind of squishy that can be very effective.
Mike, have the mechanics evolved at all in the time you've been following this game, or is it mostly labeling that's been changed?
There's some labeling. There's a the way I ran maneuvers just now, with the distraction of the flesh tangle, I started doing that the way that it had been doing in the playtest, but I quickly glanced at the rules as kind of halfway through, and they've changed maneuvers a bit. There's a bit more mechanical weight to it. In the playtest, it was much more freeform. There's a few things here. There's a few mechanical things here and there that I think they tightened up a bit. But it's pretty much the same game that I was playing a year ago. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the real final published version of this game is going to look like. Knowing Pelgrane Press, I'm sure the book is just going to be just a thing of beauty to look at.
I was glad I played because I'd run a lot of Gumshoe Trail and Mutant City Blues and Esoterror and things over the years. And I was glad to have a chance to be on the player side of this. It is one of the things is, having come from playing a lot of story stuff, a lot of PBTA things, there is that weight on conflict where any particular attack requires several steps of resolution. Like there are multiple steps. And then any particular attack doesn't contribute that much necessarily to White Ruin's taking care of the mooks. Yeah, that feels right and in pulp. But some of the other stuff, it can take a while to resolve against big things, and then things have a lot of hits, and and when you've got two different damage tracks, that's another thing. When you've got both sway and like morale and health, and they don't interact. So if people are making attacks on both those things, they don't like sync up.
There is a mechanic that allows you to make that. There's a way to basically do a double. I forget what the rule is called, but I think it's called coordinated attack, where you can make a sway attack that enhances another character's health attack, or warfare attack, or vice versa. You can make a warfare attack that actually is enhancing another character's sway attack, and that's actually, those mechanics are new. Those weren't in the playtest, so I was a little shaky on those. So I was a little hesitant to engage them without without taking too long a pause to troll through the rules.
It was good insight for me.
Have you tried to cut down Gumshoe at all?
I've never tried
to make it more simple. No, I'm sorry. Have you tried to cut it down, like to make the rule blur so there's not so many steps to the resolution of an action?
I've been thinking of that. I've definitely been playing a lot more. In the years since I played this with a playtest, I've definitely played more rules light kind of fantasy stuff. I've done some, maybe not so much fantasy, but I definitely think there's some stuff from more story games that one could use to lighten the weight of the rules a little bit. I think part of the reason that this game felt so light to me was I'd gone to Swords and the Serpentine from playing like Pathfinder for several years.
Oh yeah,
I was getting really bogged down with those rules, and this game is light as a feather compared to Pathfinder. But now that I've played a lot more, PBTA, or I've played a fair amount of Trophy recently, this game does feel like it has that the rules are definitely much more trad than I think more comfortable with these days.
I'm gonna do Night Spike Agents coming up, and I'm really hacking that to make it much easier.
At some point, I may like to pick your brain on what you're doing to lighten it up a bit, because I recall combat's really kind of like feeling light and breezy, and really like we were like in a sword and sorcery novel, and maybe it was just poor GMing on my part.
Relative.
But, yeah, maybe it was poor GMing on my part, but this one felt like, oh god, how do I make this not feel like a D&D combat?
I wonder if you were to like just cut out, like it's sort of like there's two tracks. There's like the investigative things, and then there's all those general abilities, which includes combat. And I wonder if it would work if you just didn't have those two separate tracks. You just had all investigative, and one of them would be like combat or something. So you'd just be like, in combat, you'd be like, I'll burn a point of melee to kill the mooks. Really, like, I like the game a lot. I like the parts of the game where we could just make things up and spend a point of investigative stuff to make it happen. So like if you had combat work that same way, so maybe like a boss, you'd have to use like 3 or 4 investigative points to succeed. So you don't have to get into all that math of having to and allocating points and all of that, which really kind of bogs it down, especially in a short 3-session thing like we did.
Got it.
So certainly the stuff that like the Yellow King, the newest sort of iteration of that they've done very much simplifies all of that stuff and makes the investigative skills and the general skills a little bit closer. So does the solo ops and the Trail of Cthulhu one-on-one stuff is all much, it is a little bit simplified on that. But
thanks for the rec on that. I haven't looked at any of those games yet, so yay Yay, more things to spend money on.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for running.
Well, I really enjoyed this. I think this was fun. I love these characters. I would love to see them at some point in the future. See if we can make that happen.
I think I'm signed up to play your game next month, Dead Planet. So I'll see you.
Excellent.
I'll see you next week.
Okay, fantastic. I will see you then.
Mm-hmm. All right,
I'm
I'm going to take off. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you, folks. Quick fun. Is it okay with you if I post this video? Awesome. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you around.
See you. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.